Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Monday, May 18th. And I had to say Friday, we saw the selling we were waiting for, but it just happened very, very late, the last 10 minutes, and then after the close. So in the after hours. So it just tells me that not quite institutional selling, but more traders taking positions off. I think if you've seen institutional selling going into the close Friday, we would have been starting to see the selling started a little bit earlier. But so we did get a little bit of weakness into the close Friday. Overnight has been to the downside, not completely surprising, but there hasn't been any shooting yet. So, and I saw in the headline about the Iranians dropping another plan to Trump for review. So I don't know. It just feels like a lot of games are being played. Yeah, but we'll find out. So, but so far the weekend transpired without too much action, and market looks like we had not sure what the little pop we are looking at right now is all about, but they popped, they retraced a little bit. Maybe maybe they think there's something good on the table. We'll find out. Personally, I don't think so. I think it's just a big game they're playing with and dragging this out the most they can, trying to drag it into the June, July 4th kind of time frames and just to keep negotiating until people get tired of it. That kind of it's been the strategy forever. So let's hope they don't fall into that trap. Anyway, so right now we are to the downside, looking at the bigger picture here. I have a news in a second while this is loading up here. So news this morning. The only thing we have is housing market at 10. That's about it. Tomorrow we get more housing data. That's about it for tomorrow. Wednesday, not much to drive the market on Wednesday at all. Jobless claims, Philly Fed on Thursday, consumer sentiment, leading indicators on Friday. So, not a whole lot of stuff to drive the market. A little bit towards the end of the week there, but as you can see, this move out of the middle to the upside has been reversed and then some. So that's not quite there anymore. We are right back in that lower range. I think it's going to fold this together like this and treat this as one big distribution right now. Because that move out of the middle, they had to build a distribution a little bit higher. Otherwise, it's just not what we think it is. A big extension to the upside. That was for sure. So we're down here against 7400s building value, and I would just stay range bound right now in this area. Watching that lower range, 73.45, or it's actually the 25, 35s, 45s on the downside. Watching the levels up here, the 74.60s. You start taking that out, maybe we have a shot at trading back up again. I don't think so, but it's I think it is today. We probably are waiting for the in either bombing to resume or some deal to be done, and this is what we're waiting for, and it's just dragging out. It's like I'm surprised they have so much patience with these guys, because that's the only thing they do. They sit there and come up with a half-ass proposal and then drag it out for a few more weeks, and then has a it has been going on for a while now. So. I think this may be it. This is going to happen or not. But the market, I think, is just prepared for it. It positioned a little bit. The little rally we had the last 2 days is kind of fizzled, and we are waiting for action or no action. If we see action, we may see further weakness on the downside. Oil may be spiking a little bit in the short term. Um, I wouldn't expect it to be anything drawn out kind of stuff. It's probably going to be pretty quick action happening at that point. But you can expect a knee-jerk reaction to the downside if that happens. So I would start off range bound today. I would just trade it range bound and watching that lower side of it and see if there's any attempt for risk off kind of dynamic to develop. So initially, I'm looking to sell strength at 74.20s, 30s, 45s, up to the 60s here for rotations down. Above the 675s, we know we are heading higher. I would say I would give it above the 60s. 60s is right up here against this upper edge. This is a nice volume edge. So they start taking out that 74.60s. I would start thinking long side of the market again. On the way down, looking to buy weakness right now against the 74.10s, 7400s. I think the best one maybe at 73.85, but then at 75s, 65s. when they say 50 on this one, 35s, 25s. So these lower areas right here, that's going to be the lower edge before we hit those single prints, right? So that the last level here at the 73.35s. Below that, we start retracing single prints, and I think that's when we lean in on the short side. We got something going on at that point. So we got some range on the upside. I would have at 74.60s. We're pretty much in the middle of it right now. So I would start off range bound. I would favor the short side to get started. Just given the Friday selling and the overnight weakness, and the fact that we have some stuff going on ahead of us, which is unknown. So I would probably favor the short side. But if the key area is going to be that the 35s I'm here, or I should say the 50s and the 35s, these two support areas. If both of them comes out, that's where we really have a problem on our hands, right? So that's how we get started on the ES. So looking to sell strength up to the 74.60s. That's when we change our bias. On the way down, looking to buy weakness down to the 73.35s. And below that one, then we have something happening for sure. I think the best long trade may come down here against the London low. Nice ledge there at 85. And you have a pretty good ledge here. You have a mode here at the 30s. Could be a nice trade. Actually, the first try to that high volume, first time to that high volume area, and when they run it higher, you can see how they bounced off it. And that's pretty typical. Around the high volume area, they bounce like this. And then you have the next ledge up here at the 74.60s. Well, actually a pretty good one here at the 45s. So that's how we get started. And then we'll see then we'll see if we get any direction up or down. I think if anything, it's going to be to the downside until we have clarity in what happens in that Iranian situation. And then looking at the Nasdaq, also pretty good move to the downside. That you have definitely reversed this move. We are down here taking this off. You can see we are down here at the lower area. Building value, going sideways. This is your Friday sell-off. So pretty good move to the downside, and they've been down. Unless they take out this 530s, the three-letter ledge, we are pretty much trading in this big range. So I could see it swinging all the way down here to the 530s, and then right back up here to the 900s. So, or sorry, 700s, 29 700s. So it's a pretty wide range, and it could be a lot of stuff happening here. But starting off, I would look for, if you take out this edge here at the 470, 480s, that's going to be up here. That's when I start thinking long side again. On the short side, if you have this the low of the day session of the overnight, if that comes out the 930s, probably looking at an attempt to take it lower here. So that's it, pretty much the dynamic. So looking to sell strength against the 270s, 320s, 370s, 450s up to the 500s for rotations down. Above these two areas here, the 450 to 500s. Then we start thinking long side of the market and looking to buy weakness, 130s, 29,060s, 29,000, 28 930s, 860s, and they're gonna go come down here. The 930s, the lowest, the session low. They start taking that out. I would just stay on the short side of this. So that's kind of how we approach the Nasdaq this morning. Both range bound. I would favor the short side on both of them to get started, and let's see if we get further weakness or if they're just going to kind of hold the line. Not sure we're going to see a big rally, but you never know. Headlines can come out, which can cause that as well. So, yes, I had to pay attention to the headlines. Oil popped that to the upside. They were up all the way up to 108. They're backing down now, right back down to Friday's close. So oil is kind of to the downside a little bit now, but overall, 105 is pretty high. Looking at the bonds, you see here on market. They've taken a couple of big legs lower. The yields are definitely on the upswing. Prices on bonds are way down, taking out these lows. So this is not a great structure at all. This is the bond market telling us something is up, and that's going to cause some constipation for the stock market for sure. High yields not going to work well for the stock market. And all the debt refinancing needs to be done. It's going to be running into higher yields, higher rates when this happens. So that's not a great sign, and we just had to realize that could definitely put a damper in the stock market. We'll see if this is short-term thing or not, but right now I would just stay on the short side on the bonds, looking to sell strength all the way up here to that 112s. So we got a while to go. So looking for shorts against the 11s, 11, 8, 12, and 16 for rotations down. Initially, we took it a little bit lower in the overnight here. So we got a ledge here right now. We are testing at the 1024. If that holds, I mean, that's just going to keep us on the short side here. So definitely biased to the downside on the bonds. Let's see how far they're going to take it. They are definitely in the move out of the middle to the downside. So not going to be stepping in front of it aggressively, looking for short setups at this point until we find some support. Right now, move out of the middle to the downside on the bonds. All right, so buying against the 1018, 1012, 1006s with a lot of caution. I would favor the short side, looking for short against the 24, 25s here, against the 111s for rotations down. Could be something up here too, but if it retraces that much, it could be at least more of a range bound kind of a day, you know. Sometimes you get after these big sell-offs, you get a nice little run up here. It looks like it's almost rallying, but yeah, that's the watch for those. If that starts happening, you know, if they start taking out that 111s, you want to look for shorts against these upper areas with a little bit more caution. Maybe even try a long trade and see how far they want to take it to the upside. All right, so that's the bonds. Crypto-wise, not much going on. You can see my crypto oil here, and that's this guy here. That's the open. And not a lot of volume on crypto oil today. Definitely, there's little violence in the morning and then back and forth. So not a lot of volume going on oil. The silver gold also pretty muted. So haven't done any trading on those at all in the overnight. So everything seems to be in a holding pattern, waiting for this outcome we're going to have on the Iranian situation. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. I'll wrap it there for now. And I will see you back at 11:30 for the next update. So no news. Well, at 10 o'clock we get housing market today. That's about it. So maybe a slow Monday while we are waiting. Alrighty, guys. So good trading, and I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update later.